reminding us in this House why we're here. It's no coincidence that the federal government separates tax day so far from election day. Election day ought to be tax day. Before I start, there's a few questions I want to ask some of you because we've had groups out here before. I want to ask you, were any of you bussed up here by union bosses?
No!
Were you paid $10 an hour and given a purple shirt to be here?
No!
Were you told to come up here and disrupt the legislature from doing its job?
No!
Well, I guess we have a different crowd up here than we had 2 weeks ago. Do any of you think that New Hampshire taxpayers deserve a state budget that doesn't raise taxes or fees?
Yeah.
So do we. Do any of you think that we deserve a state budget that doesn't borrow money from our children and our grandchildren to operate today's government?
Yeah.
We do too. Do any of you think that there ought to be a right to work bill in New Hampshire?
Yeah.
We do. And we've passed it on to the Senate. Let's hope it becomes law. Do any of you think that there should be a repeal of the electricity cap and tax system so that we can have lower energy bills? Again, we do too, and we've sent it on to the Senate. Finally, I want to ask you, how many of you are thrilled to live in New Hampshire, where we file a federal tax return today, but there's no state tax return?
Yeah.
Well, I promise you that as long as I'm here, and as long as this majority you've sent here remains, there will be no state income tax. We ran for the House last year, and we knew that there'd be a battle with the forces of big government who want more spending and want the hard-working taxpayers of this state to come up with more money because they don't want government to live within its means. The big spenders have legions of lobbyists, buckets of political union money, and busloads full of public employees paid by your tax dollars who are doing everything they can to stop us from cutting spending. All New Hampshire taxpayers have is the hope of their elected officials will keep their word and remain committed to the people who pull the cart. The House will not lose its backbone. We will never waver from our commitment to cut taxes and focus on an environment that will bring jobs back to New Hampshire. Let me tell you that after we passed the budget 2 weeks ago, I checked with my chiropractor and my spine was still intact. We passed a budget that didn't raise taxes and fees, didn't use overinflated revenue figures devised by a chairman of finance who last term would go into a committee and say, look to the sky, we need more money. We didn't ask towns and cities to raise their property taxes in order to help us out in the state level balance our budget. But we didn't stop there. For the first time, New Hampshire has a constitutional amendment go in front of the voters, if the Senate goes along with us, that will get the courts out of education. We passed another constitutional amendment on to the Senate asking them to give it to you that will require a 3/5 supermajority to raise taxes. We need that. We did repeal the cap and tax program. We passed right-to-work legislation to protect the freedom of New Hampshire workers. We have passed over 30 bills on to the Senate that reduce business regulation in New Hampshire. We need those bills to be passed. Just yesterday, we introduced legislation into the House that would send money back, that would implement Obamacare, and send it back with instructions to use it to reduce the massive federal deficit. Let the other states do the same. Let the federal government listen. We need that. We know that New Hampshire residents don't care if their money is wasted on the state level or on Washington. They just don't want it to be there. And unlike 4 years ago when there were 100 tax and fee increases, in the budget we've sent it back with 10 fees and taxes that have either been eliminated or reduced. The taxpayers of New Hampshire have won this first battle, but the war is long, and the other side will not be backing down. It is a long twilight struggle for our liberty that none of us can walk away from. That's why I'm making this commitment to you, and your Republican majority in this House is making the commitment with you. If you stand with us in the work we're doing to keep government small and taxes low, we will stand with you every day that we're up here in Concord. Thank you.